I'm Adam Porter. I'm a game designer from the UK, and my 8th published game, Zingazam, was recently released at Essen Spiel by Brain Games. My first games, Big Bazaar and Doodle Rush, were released in 2017 and followed over subsequent years by Pikoko, Throne, Kompromat, Qwuzzle and Zooligans. And I've chronicled every step of that journey into professional game design on this YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm going to signpost you to a video covering every question you might have about the process. 2014 was a big year for me. I'd visited Essen Spiel convention once before, in 2012, but this was the first time I visited with an intent to get my own designs published. I recorded a video diary that year, and for the next few years, candidly discussing my experiences of pitching to publishers. Now, they're not the most dynamic videos. They're recorded early in the morning or late in the evening when I'm the most exhausted, whispering in a dark hotel room. But they're open and honest videos, and they accurately convey the experience of pitching to publishers as a newcomer to the industry. It was my good friend Rob Fisher who suggested that I make these video diaries all those years ago, and Rob and I went on to work together on several games over the years, including Kompromat, Qwuzzle, The Genius Gems and several more upcoming projects. Rob Fisher and I discussed our approach to collaboration in 2 videos in 2020, recalling the process of designing Qwuzzle and Kompromat. Unfortunately, YouTube does not allow you to embed more than a handful of links into videos, so I'm not going to link directly to all the videos I discussed today, but I will add links in the description below. And all these videos are easily found by searching through my YouTube channel or entering the video title into YouTube search. I receive emails almost every day from viewers of this channel, mostly new designers taking their first steps in the industry. And rather than write the same email response over and over again, I've filmed a couple of videos which function as entry points for new designers. Probably the first videos you should watch if you're new to this channel. This video, From Idea to Shelves, is a good starting point for most. It covers all the broad questions that I tend to receive from new designers. You've made a game. Fantastic. Now, how do you get it in front of publishers and persuade them to produce it? We get into a little more detail in some other videos, but this is a great one for a broad overview. The other question I get asked all the time is how to protect your game idea. Many new designers have questions about copyright, patents and trademarks, and how to prevent someone stealing their concept. This video, Scared of Copycats, covers my thoughts on the topic. Of course, the general advice is don't worry too much about it. You have so much to gain by showing off your prototype. But there's nuance to that argument, and hopefully this video will help. You may, of course, be nowhere near the stage of approaching publishers. Maybe you just have a concept for a game lingering in your brain, but you have no idea what to do next. If so, my video, Making Your First Board Game, is for you. This one covers the basics of inspiration, rapid prototyping, and getting maximum joy from the process. And talking of prototyping, I've made a number of videos on that topic. If you want to know how to make a simple prototype, you could watch Bringing Your Game to Life, or my later video, Essentials for Making Board Game Prototypes on a Budget. Well, my video, The Board Game Industry Start Here, should cover all the different entities and their interactions: designers, publishers, manufacturers, distributors, retailers and more. And the follow-up video, How COVID-19 Changed the Board Game Industry Forever, is still relevant in 2023. I also made a video way back in 2016 covering the history of the board game industry. And of course, a few things have developed since then, but it's still a fascinating journey through centuries of board game design. One of my earliest videos on board game design, I've made a board game, how do I make money from it, is also one of my most viewed. I think the advice in the video holds up, though there's considerably more detail in later videos. A key area that all board game designers need to fully understand is the process of playtesting. So this begins with solo tests on scraps of paper, followed by tests with family and friends, then a wider pool of strangers, ideally some other designers, and culminates with blind tests without yourself present. My video, Inside Playtesting, What It Is, Why It Matters and How to Get Started, covers the process in some depth. It's frequently said that you should run hundreds of playtests before pitching your game. And I think in many cases this is unrealistic, unnecessary, and can be overwhelming for new designers. So I've got some context in my video, Imposter Syndrome and Board Game Design. How many playtests is enough? My Carcassonne parable for game designers is a particular favourite of mine. It covers playtester feedback and how to choose which feedback to incorporate into your game and what to ignore. And I think the video's pretty funny too. Once you've made your prototype and you've started testing, you're going to need to write the rules, ideally as early as possible. And my video, Rule the Game, Secrets to Writing Clear, Concise and Compelling Board Game Rulebooks, might help you to do that. Once you have a game that you're happy with, you might start thinking about its future. Are you going to pitch it to a publisher, or are you going to attempt to publish it yourself, usually by crowdfunding through GameFound or Kickstarter? My video, Crowdfunding Your Board Game, discusses the pros and cons of both approaches. Personally, I've always pitched my games to publishers and I've never self-published. I send emails shortly before the Essen Spiel convention in Germany requesting a meeting, and that's where I make the majority of my pitches. This year, I managed to fit in 30 meetings, all arranged in advance using the following approach. My initial email always includes a sell sheet, which is a single page of brief information about the game, and a 2-minute sizzle reel, a promotional video covering the basics of gameplay. Now, I've made videos covering both topics: sell sheets, when and how to use them, and mastering the art of board game video reels. And how do you decide who to approach? Well, I've got a video for that too. How to choose the right publisher for your board game. But you might also find some useful tips in my video, Cracking the Code, revealing what board game publishers want in a game. Next step is the meeting itself. You've got 30 minutes or less to sell your game concept to a publisher. So how should you approach it? Well, I've pitched hundreds of times over the last decade, and my video, Pitch Perfect, covers my thoughts on the process. I followed this video with a sketch, How Not to Pitch, Don't Be This Guy, which got more reactions than any other video I've made. I think the sketch illustrates most of the errors I've seen designers make over the years, and I still find the video amusing today. Developing great relationships with publishers is key to continued success as a board game designer, and I discuss my thoughts on this in my video, The Secrets of Success in Board Game Publishing: Nurture Lasting Relationships with Publishers. Building such relationships can result in working together again and again. Zingazam is my third game released by Brain Games, and I've also worked on 3 different titles with the Happy Puzzle Company, Zooligans, Qwuzzle and the Genius Gems. Assuming your pitch meeting went well, a publisher will spend some time testing your game and discussing with colleagues. If things have gone really well, they might even come back to you with the offer of a publishing contract. I made 5 videos in 2022 covering board game publishing contracts in detail. They cover topics such as how much creative control you can retain as a designer, how you get paid, how you get your rights back when the publisher stops producing the game, how expansions and sequels work, and what your responsibilities are to the publisher. Now, increasingly over the years, I've moved away from designing novelties and curiosities. I've stopped experimenting and started focusing on my intended audience at a much earlier stage in the process. This is the core of design thinking. My video, How Design Thinking Can Revolutionize Your Board Game Creation, lays out the basic concepts. Over subsequent videos, I explore every aspect of product design. I discuss a recipe for commercial hits on my video, Brilliant Idea, Perfect Execution. I have a video about onboarding potential players with rulebooks, box covers, and online presence. And over a series of videos, I explore the psychology of players. What attracts customers? What do they find engaging? What do they want or need? I discuss the aesthetics of your board game design and practical considerations in my videos, How to Make a Board Game Which Demands Attention, and Your Board Game Needs to Deliver. Probably the single most important aspect of board game design in this crowded market is creating a strong hook to draw players and publishers in. I've made several videos about using this approach. In one of my most viewed videos, I make the case that designers should stop treating innovation as the be-all and end-all. Gradual iteration is far more accessible to most players because it brings familiarity and hence fewer barriers. One of my videos is called What Makes a Great Hook, and it's a really good starting point for this approach. My video, Why Great Games Fail, makes the case for positioning your game in the market at a really early point in your design process to ensure that your project doesn't get ignored. For a summary of all these product design videos, I made a 30-minute presentation using product design principles to enhance your tabletop game. And on all my videos, I try to be as candid as possible about my own experiences, both good and bad. One video was particularly difficult to make. In the video, I designed a board game and it bombed. I discussed the journey of creating a game that I loved, pitching it successfully, and then the disappointment of receiving bad reviews and poor sales. All because I never considered my audience when I designed the game. Phew, so that is a huge number of videos about the design process and industry approaches. But the channel doesn't stop there. I also love to explore mechanisms, diving deep into the ways designers have used them and offering up prompts to new designers for different approaches to developing those games. Making these videos often spurs ideas in my own mind. By forensically exploring what's been done before, I spot gaps in the market, things which haven't yet been done, or concepts I can turn on their head, creating a brand new experience. Whatever stage you're at as a designer, this channel has something to offer. So please make sure to subscribe, comment, and share the videos widely so the channel can continue to grow. It was extremely gratifying that so many of you came and said hi to me at Essen Spiel and earlier in the year at UK Games Expo and told me about the various ways the channel has helped you in creating your own games. I wish you every success with your future designs. Until next time, all the best.